World Cup 2026 chaos, FIFA's worst nightmare. And 3 days into the biggest tournament, the incidents keep coming in ways that no one inside the governing body saw coming, and no one outside it can look away from. A Swiss international's visa flagged under review hours before his match. Iran crossing an international border before and after every single group stage fixture. ICE enforcement operations reported near host city fan zones. A 3 o'clock afternoon kickoff scheduled for the World Cup final, in the middle of a North American summer. And a security operation in Mexico deploying 100,000 personnel against a cartel threat that intelligence agencies had been warning about for months. This is FIFA's worst nightmare, unfolding in real time, across 3 nations simultaneously. Today, we break down exactly what is happening and why it keeps getting worse. Start with Breel Embolo, because his story captures something about the chaos surrounding this tournament that no statistic and no institutional statement can fully communicate. Embolo is a Swiss international, a professional footballer with a valid FIFA accreditation, a confirmed squad place in every document his governing body required him to carry. 10 days before the tournament began, his United States travel authorization was flagged under review. Not denied, not approved, flagged. Suspended in an administrative gray zone that left him, and his federation, unable to confirm whether he would be able to enter the host country for the tournament he had spent months preparing for. He was eventually cleared. He made it. But the fact that a player from a neutral European nation, Switzerland, a country with no travel restrictions, no geopolitical complications, no reason to attract the attention of border enforcement, found his entry into the host country placed under review 10 days before the World Cup began tells you something important about the environment that FIFA agreed to operate in when it awarded this tournament to the United States. If it can happen to Embolo, it can happen to anyone. And that realization has been sitting quietly in the back of every federation's mind since the moment his situation became public. The Iran situation adds a completely different dimension to the chaos, and it is a dimension that has no equivalent in the history of this tournament. Iran are playing their group stage matches at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles and at Lumen Field in Seattle. Their base camp is in Tijuana, Mexico, directly across the border from San Diego. The United States government refused to allow the Iranian squad to stay overnight on American territory. So the solution, brokered between FIFA, the Iranian Federation, and the Mexican government, is this. Before every match Iran play on American soil, the entire squad, coaching staff, and support personnel cross an international border. They travel to the stadium, they play, and after the final whistle, they cross back. An international border. Before and after every single group stage fixture. The logistical demands of that arrangement are extraordinary. Managing recovery, training schedules, nutrition, rest, and squad preparation across 2 countries simultaneously, while navigating the most diplomatically complicated situation any nation has faced at any World Cup in the modern era. Iran's players are not just preparing for football matches. They are managing border crossings as a routine part of their tournament schedule. That is FIFA's worst nightmare made operational reality. An arrangement that has no precedent. That exists because the host country's own policies made the standard arrangement impossible, and that FIFA agreed to present as a workable solution to a problem that should never have existed in the first place. The ICE situation is the one that has created the most immediate fear among international fans who made the journey to American host cities despite every reason not to. Reports of immigration and customs enforcement operations in and around host city fan zones have circulated across social media and been picked up by international news organizations covering the tournament. The legal framework is clear. ICE has the authority to operate anywhere on American soil, regardless of whether a sporting event is taking place nearby. FIFA has no jurisdiction over ICE operations. The host city agreements FIFA signed with American municipalities did not include any provision that restricted federal immigration enforcement in tournament areas. For an international fan from a country with travel complications, attending a match in Los Angeles or Houston or New York, while ICE operations are being reported in the surrounding area, is not an abstract concern. It is a calculation about personal safety that no previous World Cup has asked its supporters to make. Amnesty International warned about this before the tournament began. Fan organizations raised it formally. FIFA acknowledged it could not guarantee the safety of supporters from affected nations within host city areas in a way that went beyond its own accreditation documentation. And the fans who heard those warnings and made individual decisions to stay home, whose absence is now visible as empty seats in stadiums across 16 host cities, made a rational calculation based on real information. The scheduling controversy adds a layer of chaos that is different in nature but equally damaging to FIFA's credibility with the football world. The World Cup final is scheduled to kick off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey on July 19th, in the middle of a North American summer when afternoon temperatures in the New Jersey area regularly exceed 30 degrees Celsius. That decision was made to accommodate European broadcast windows, specifically to ensure the final airs in prime time across the continent that generates the largest share of FIFA's commercial revenue. The football audience that matters most commercially gets the final at a convenient viewing time. The fans inside the stadium get a 3 o'clock afternoon kickoff in summer heat. The players get conditions that no World Cup final has ever previously asked them to perform in. FIFA defended the scheduling decision. It cited broadcast commitments, commercial agreements, and the overall tournament calendar as factors that made the afternoon kickoff necessary. The football world received that explanation with the same skepticism it has applied to every FIFA defense of every decision surrounding this tournament. Because by this point, 3 days in, the pattern is too established to be broken by any single explanation. Every decision that prioritized commercial interest over fan experience. Every arrangement that served FIFA's revenue model at the expense of the supporters who attend matches, travel internationally, and invest emotionally in a tournament that was promoted as being built for them. The cartel security situation in Mexico represents the most serious physical risk dimension of the chaos unfolding across this tournament. Mexican authorities deployed approximately 100,000 security personnel across the country's host cities, Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Monterrey, in what the government described as one of the largest security operations in the nation's history. That deployment exists because the threat assessment was serious enough to justify it. Intelligence agencies had been warning for months that the presence of the World Cup, with its concentration of international visitors, its media attention, and its economic activity, made Mexican host cities attractive targets for organized criminal groups competing for territorial influence. The security apparatus that Mexico assembled is a response to a genuine assessed threat, not a precaution, a response. And for international fans attending matches in Mexican host cities, that context is present in every journey to and from a stadium, not as an abstract risk, as an operational reality that the Mexican government, FIFA, and local authorities are managing with 100,000 personnel and a security budget that represents an extraordinary commitment of national resources. FIFA promoted this tournament as a celebration across 3 nations. A festival of football spread from the beaches of Miami to the mountains of Mexico City to the rain of Vancouver. A tournament that would show the world what North America could offer the sport. 3 days in, what the world is seeing is Swiss players flagged at borders, Iran crossing international boundaries before every match, ICE operations near fan zones, a 3 o'clock final in summer heat, and 100,000 security personnel deployed against a cartel threat that intelligence agencies had been warning about for months. This is FIFA's worst nightmare, and it is still unfolding.